Well, today we're going to talk about shapes, transformation, alignment, and arrangement. This is demo 3, which coincides with exercise 3 in Illustrator 1 class. We're going to go ahead and launch Illustrator, create a new document. It's going to be in inches, 8.5 by 11. Orientation is going to be landscape, so our longest side is going to be the 11-inch width. RGB color mode, 300 pixels per inch. We're going to go ahead and create that document. Make sure the top up here says Essentials Classic. If something seems off and this doesn't look like your regular setup, go ahead and say Reset Essentials. Once we have our document set up, we're going to go ahead and say Save. And we're going to find our exercises. Go to exercise 3. We can rename this shapes. I'm going to come up here to my file name, last name, first initial, underscore, AI1 for Illustrator 1, underscore. This is exercise 3, and I'm just going to call it shapes. And we're going to say save and OK. The next thing we're going to do is turn on our Smart Guides. There's a shortcut for Smart Guides, which is Command U, or we can go up to the top and go to View Smart Guides. As long as you have the check mark there, your Smart Guides are on, and this is going to help us to align shapes. So we're going to draw some shapes here. We're going to be using the Shapes tool, and if we wanted to select the rectangle tool, that shortcut is M, and the ellipse tool, the shortcut is L. So that's kind of helpful if you're toggling between. So if I just hit L, you can see it changes, and M, it changes to the rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and make a rectangle, and I'm going to select a fill. Go to my swatches, just some color over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a square. So I'm going to hold down Shift. I'm going to make that a different color. And then I'm going to make a triangle. So I'm going to come down to the star tool, click, and say 3 sides. And I'm going to change that to a different color. And I'm going to make let's go ahead and make a circle here. I'm going to do an oval first, and then I'm going to make a circle holding Shift down. All right, and then I'm going to make a pentagon, which a pentagon has 5 sides. I'm going to say OK, make that a different color, and you can see these have 0 strokes. So if I were to have one that had a stroke on it, I could actually just select them all, make sure the stroke's in the front, and say none, and it just took the stroke off of my shape. So I'm going to resize these shapes to make them all fit on the page. So I can click, hold, and drag, so I select them all. I can also hit Command A, which selects all, and I'm going to hold down Shift and make them a little bit larger. So that way they just fit in that page. So I fit them all here. I'm going to go to my Layers panel, and I'm going to rename that layer Shapes. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we're going to talk about transform and align. So if we were to select, let's just say 3 shapes here, and we want to align them, at the top there's an Align panel. I can click on that and it'll open. It's also down towards the bottom. Actually, I don't see it open here, so let me go up to Window, Align, and it just pops it open. So you can pull it out if you want. I usually like it in my pop-out panel, but I can click it up here or down here. Either way works. Okay, let me move this panel inside here as well. Oops. Okay. So here's my Align tool. Now, if I select on the very top, these are aligning your objects. These are horizontal. This is a horizontal center. So if I click on that, you can see it aligns the center of those shapes. If I were to click on these, let's just say that I have them this direction, I click on those same three and go vertical align center, then it's going to align them. It's kind of backwards. That feels like a horizontal fill to me. But if you hover and you can look at this image, it's showing you that it's kind of across this direction. So that's how it's going to align them. If I click this one, it's going to left align. So it'll just align all of those to the left, or right align, right aligns. This is a bottom align, so it'll just align all of those on their bottom center point or bottom points, or top align. So these are just aligning your objects in whatever way you want to. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about, let's see, well, we want to turn on our rulers first, so let's do that. We're gonna go to View, Rulers, which is here, and Show Rulers. Command R is the shortcut, so Command R, and now you can see that there are these rulers going across the top and down the side. We want to make sure that our corner document, the corner of our document, is 0, 0. If it's not, you can pull from that corner and drop it right on the corner, and it makes it 0, 0. So we're going to set a 2-inch margin. Actually, I'm going to do a 1-inch margin all the way around the document. So that means I'm clicking, holding, and dragging to the edge of my document. It's 11 inches, so I'm going to go 1 inch in. That means it's 10. My document's at 8.5, so I'm going to go to 7.5, and I'm going to drop that guide. So you're just clicking inside the ruler, dragging, and dropping the ruler wherever you want. I have an extra one there, and it's fine. So you can see I have a 1-inch margin all the way around. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to View, I want to lock my guides down. So I'm going to go, just trying to remember, I see my lock slices, guides, it says unlock guides, maybe they're already locked. We'll have to come back to that. And one of the other ways that you can do it is you could put your rulers on a completely different layer if you wanted to, and lock them down. So just to kind of show you, if I go to Clear Guides and make a new layer, column rulers, or not rulers, I'm sorry, guides, and then I drew my 1-inch guides in each direction. 10 and 7.5. Then I can lock those guides down just on a separate layer. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to make a new layer. I'm going to turn off the shapes layer, and I'm going to make a new layer, and this one we're going to call diamonds. And what I'm going to do next is make a square. It's going to be kind of a smaller square, maybe 0.75 inches, somewhere around there. That's fine. And I'm going to also draw a circle somewhere around the same size. Just going to pick a different color for that as a fill, not a stroke. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste my circle, and I'm going to duplicate it. So I can do that a couple ways. I can copy paste and paste again if I wanted to, or my favorite way of duplicating is start dragging and hold down Option Shift. Drag, Option Shift. Drag, Option Shift. Okay. So now I have 4 circles. So I'm going to go ahead and move the square over. I'm going to select my circles and I'm going to put them up here in that top corner so that they're hitting my margin on the top and my margin on the left. I'm going to drag the bottom one down so that it's touching those corners. I'm going to select all four. I'm going to go back to my Align tool. And now we're going to use this Distribute Objects option. We're going to vertically distribute evenly, so it puts them just down that center there. One of the things that you have to make sure of when you're using this is the Align tool is that it says Align to Selection and not Align to Artboard, because if you do Align to Artboard, it actually aligns them to the top and the bottom of your artboard. So make sure that the Align to is set on Align to Selection. Okay, and then what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and duplicate these four. So I'm going to drag, hold down Option Shift, and I'm going to drag them to this far right over here. Now mine were already aligned because when I duplicated them, I was holding down Option Shift. So if I duplicate and hold down Option Shift, it keeps it straight. So you can see that they're aligned here, but if yours aren't aligned, make sure you select all of these, center align, or you can right align, they're exact same size, so it doesn't matter, and then evenly distribute. So you want to make sure your circles are all perfectly aligned. All right, so we're going to move on to our square now, and I'm going to draw a guide here in the middle of our page, which is going to be 5.5 inches. And I'm going to take this square and I'm actually going to make it a stroke instead of a fill. And I'm going to pump the stroke up to 15. And then I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees. So one of the tricks here is to hold down Shift so it goes in 45-degree increments. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to align this shape just to be right at the top. So I'm going to go kind of by that point of that stroke there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. So one, so I'm holding down Drag, Option Shift. Oops, let me try that again. Drag, Option Shift, drag, go ahead and do that. Drag, gotta get it right on that line, Option Shift. So I'm going to align this bottom one down here. Then what I'm going to do is select all four and I'm going to hit evenly distribute. Then I'm going to draw a line from the top all the way down to the bottom. So here's my line. I'm going to just draw a line all the way down here. And that's pretty thick, so I'm going to change this. I'll just say 2 points. And it's still red, same as my diamonds here. And I'm going to turn off the guide since I put them on my own layer here. I could just turn them off real quick. And that guide I put on the wrong layer. So let me see if I can clear that guide real quick. So now you can see I have this red line going through here. And even if I send that to the back, Object, Arrange, Send to Back, you can still see the red going through there. And that's because my triangles have no fill. So if I wanted to hide that, I could give my shape a white fill, all those diamonds. So I can do that here under Color. I could go to my swatches and say white. And now it looks like that's going back behind there. So you're kind of using that, the white as like you're adding like a negative space back there, just so you can see the line go all the way through. All right, and once we do that, we're going to go ahead and call this done. So I'm going to say save. I'm just going to hit Command S. You can also go up to File, Save, and save it. And that is going to be it for exercise 2.